Hello, this is Brian Kinard, U.S. West Territory Sales Manager at Roland DG Shape, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Beyond the Margins podcast. And today I'm joined by none other than Greg Everett from Denteon.
All right, thanks, Brian. Appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to our chat here.
Absolutely. As you know, this is our entire intent with this podcast format is to introduce some of the talent throughout the industry to the industry, some of the unsung heroes and some of the sung heroes as well. So we really appreciate you being here. And first off, I want to start with the origin story. So how did you get into the dental lab field? How did that come about?
I'll try to hit the bullet points, I guess. I didn't seek it out, and I think that's true for a lot of us that are in the industry that aren't like second or third generation. I was the guy who could work computers, and my girlfriend, now wife, was a driver for a dental lab, and I needed a job, so I started sweeping floors, and they figured out I could be more useful than that, and fell into it. And geez, that was almost 20 years ago now.
Wow.
It's crazy to think about that. But yeah, did 11 years in a lab doing production, a lot of digital stuff. Had the opportunity to grow with the digital transition, which gives great perspective as far as being able to troubleshoot things and seeing issues at their core. And then I went to go work for a tooling company. And then I started Denteon, which our mission at the core is to help labs do better with digital production.
That's awesome. And it's really funny, everybody has their origin story, and it's really interesting to watch people. There's a lot of people in our industry where they start at the bottom, they work their way up, and now today, you're the owner and operator at Denteon. And I remember when I first met you, it was probably before my time with Roland. Back before when you worked at a previous employer. And so it's been awesome to watch you grow. Started out doing, when it comes to, with respect to Roland, started out doing service and in warranty calls and things like that. And then I remember the day, hey, Brian, do you think I could be a dealer? No problem, absolutely. And we signed you on the next day. So yeah, it's really fun to watch people grow and maybe even have a hand in that. That's the cool thing about this industry is really helping each other out, achieving some of those professional goals.
It might be worth mentioning the partnership that we have with Roland, because Denteon has kind of come to specialize in Roland. And really, I get the call, hey, what, can you help us fix a different brand machine? I'm like, you know what, we're exclusively Roland. We're committed to that garden, and we've gotten really good at implementing and troubleshooting and dealing with the full array of the devices. So, and that's because of the support of the company and the good relationships, and it's been a ongoing excellent thing.
Absolutely. So you've been to a lot of labs, big and small, all around, all over the place. What would be one tip that you would give to a lab to reducing downtime in milling?
Global 20,000 foot view. The majority of labs are that I've been in are really lacking in just basic process design. And so there's a lot of, I'm going to steal a term from a customer. He called it battlefield medicine. So it's like, hey, something breaks, we got to throw duct tape on it and make it work, right? There's a ton of battlefield medicine in dental labs.
Oh yeah.
And really, if there's one thing I could say, take some time and relax and get perspective on the process and write down the steps. How long does each step take? And design it hey, why are we walking a tray full of units across the lab to put in the oven? Maybe it's worth moving the ovens closer to the machines.
Yeah.
Things like that. Just thinking about the process and being analytical about it, and get out of that battlefield medicine mode.
Right.
Even if it takes a Saturday or something, do that.
Yeah. For sure. And try to optimize the efficiency and the workflow and reduce any sort of, people dropping crowns on the ground as they walk across the lab.
Yeah, there's just such a crazy amount of waste. everybody's all, excited about technology, which obviously I am too. But when you go down to like the fundamentals of how to operate a business, it doesn't matter if you have the fanciest, shiniest, new what have you. If you are dropping crowns and you have, a 20% internal waste, like get the fundamentals right first.
Right.
And it'll do your business good.
Right, exactly. So when it comes to, sort of optimizing some of these workflows, when it comes to milling, what would be one tip that you would give a mill operator to them directly in order to them to limit any sort of, milling downtime or anything like that? Something that they can do periodically to make sure that their milling solution is lasting as long as it should.
So this is going to sound dumb, but it because it intentionally is. So when you get your mill, it's in a nice box, it's packaged nicely, right? And you open it, and inside that box there's a book. Most people toss that book aside.
The service manual.
Well, the user guide.
User guide, right?
It's like it's not that big of a deal. Like, read it.
Exactly.
People spend a lot of time putting that document together. And there's solid recommendations in there. There's maintenance stuff. There's operation stuff. Even if you already have like a different roll and device, like still read it. You be intentional about it. And if you do that, then you're going to arrive at my tip, which is maintenance. Okay. The machines that show up at our shop for repair are almost always severely neglected. We'll have 10 pounds of zirconia that we'll extract out of the inside of the thing.
Right.
I exaggerate, but it's like, holy, this thing's never seen us.
Hey, you're exaggerating, but maybe you aren't.
Well, there have been some, right? But daily cleaning, collet maintenance. It's so crazy how often somebody asks me, like, what is a collet?
Right.
And I'm like, how long have you had the machine? Oh, we've been running it for 3 years, and all of a sudden it's just chip and margins, and we're getting lines, and I'm like,
burrs won't release.
Yeah, and oh, what's a collet? Yeah. Oh, you guys didn't crack that book, did you? So yeah, that's the number one thing. And if we had 4 hours, I could probably go a little deeper.
Yeah.
What's our time limit, by the way? Like 20 minutes?
Give or take.
Okay, cool. I'll try not to ramble.
No, you're doing great. In fact, that leads me on to the very next question that's on the forefront of my mind. Every time I'm at a show or an event, people come up to me and they say, Brian, how often should we calibrate? And I give them a couple different answers, and I think that I go back and forth. To me, it comes down to your lab's philosophy, whether you're proactive or reactive. But what is your response to that? Say somebody comes to you and says, Greg, how often should I calibrate? What's your response to that?
So I actually do have a response that I give everybody on that. And I start by asking, okay, what is the purpose of the calibration? Let's put yourself in that frame of mind. The purpose of the calibration is to correct error as it gets wider. So the machine, once calibrated, is zeroed in, it's dialed. And then over time, it can get further away from being dialed. And so the answer to calibration is calibrate when you need to calibrate. And so for us and our customers, we're recommending that you calibrate as a troubleshooting method. Let's say the machine's not giving you the crown you want. First step, clean everything, call it maintenance, calibrate. If that doesn't clear it up, then call your dealer. And then there's a couple of more technical reasons to calibrate, which is, did you disrupt the machine physically? Did it get moved? Because if it got moved, it changed shape.
Right, if there's a collision or something where the burr hits the zirconia or the fixture and you have an error message on your screen.
Moved, collision, physically disrupted. That also includes, was it serviced? As part of any service procedure, whether it's changing a spindle or, going deeper and swapping out all the ball screws or something like that, you have to calibrate because you've disrupted the machine's 0 point.
Right.
And then there's some other scenarios where if you update firmware or software or something like that, those are kind of more corner cases. But the thing that I really don't recommend is the labs that are calibrating every day.
Right.
The first thing we do when we get in is we calibrate. And I'm like, well, you're probably not hurting anything.
Right. But time-wise.
That is costing you 1 unit of production per day.
Exactly.
And that stacks. And we care about unit yield per day.
Right. Exactly.
Right. So yeah, there's the dissertation on calibration.
Right. And like, to me, you know, it depends on the end user, their use case, as you had kind of alluded to. You know, if somebody comes to me and I say, okay, what are you milling? Are you milling, you know, a couple crowns here and there? Are you milling an all-in-4 case? Well, I'd rather somebody be proactive. They calibrate before running a massive case. Otherwise, you know, who knows? Maybe it's out of whack, and then they find out when it's too late, and now they've wasted a $200 puck of zirconia out the door, hours, and that sort of stuff. So
that's a great point too. You got to mitigate risk.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And, you know, like if you were running a bunch of PMMA and then you switch to an all-on-X, like, you know, it's use your intuition. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you and I, we are both, I guess, self-described nerds. We love tech, whether it's, you know, within the dental field or outside of the dental field. And a lot of times we see tech sort of evolve outside the dental field and then be applied to dental.
Yeah.
That being said, within the next 2 to 3 years, what do you think is the technological advancement that will affect the dental industry the most?
My answer to that question used to be 3D printing. Because it's like, oh, you're building a business around mills. Like, isn't 3D printing gonna like disrupt that? And the answer is no, because the zirconia is getting cheaper, and the process is proven, and the clinicians trust it.
Right.
So those three things are critical, and they're going to underpin milling. That used to be my answer. My answer now is automation. We have to focus on automation. We got a lot of baby boomers that are aging out and retiring. A lot of that lab owners are you know, they don't have a replacement or a succession plan. You know, we've got a lot of private equity snatching up labs, bigger labs buying smaller labs. And that's driving a pretty severe like demographic crunch of skilled labor.
Right.
And, you know, we saw it first in removables, because like no one's going to school for removables. But now it's affecting pretty much every level of the workflow in a lab. And if you, like, I talk to a lot of lab owners, and the number one thing is we can't find people that can do this stuff. And the only solution to that is automation. And that might be a buzzword these days. But what does that mean? It means software automation and hardware automation. So, you know, there's ways to, you know, for like cam nesting, right? So you can right now, if you search this out, you can have a folder that all your designs just dump into, and your CAM software can watch that folder, grab the design, stick it in a disk, calculate it, and create a file for your mill to accept. That exists right now, and that's a crazy labor cut. Like you know, some of my customers are running systems like that, and you know, they've been able to take their skilled CAD/CAM nesting person and cut their workload by 80%, and put them somewhere else in the organization. And so, you know, you got software, and then obviously hardware, which is where I get really nerdy. You know, there's a lot of robotic stuff coming online. That's kind of a funny pun, maybe. And you know, we're pretty involved a bit secretively on integrating robotics into solutions, and that is really where the excitement is, and where the real labor reduction is going to come from.
Well, I can feel a lot of listeners kind of cringe, like, oh no, my job secure? And when I hear things pertaining to automation, I don't think that it's coming for jobs. I think what it's doing is it's optimizing the jobs that people are already doing and making their job easier. Kind of like how you said with the CAM software that's out there, where you just drag and drop a file, and then it uses that metadata and figures out what puck to nest it in and what machine to go to. And that's not replacing anybody's job. That's just improving somebody's job and making that job easier for them, in my opinion.
I mean, it's not even, that's fact. It's we have an incredible skilled labor shortage in this industry.
Yes.
And so if you want to have a job in this industry, the time is now. Like, focus on technology, educate yourself, read all the social media stuff, watch all the YouTube podcasts,
right?
And stay in the know and add value. If you're an employee at a lab, doing low level stuff, if you can prove that you're bringing value to the organization, and really don't go and say, hey, I need $2 more an hour.
Right.
Like, just add value and don't ask.
Right.
And the good business owners will recognize that and elevate you in the organization.
I agree.
Right.
I feel like meritocracy in this industry, it's not dead. It's alive and well.
It's 1,000% right there. And if you're doing that, if you're not mailing it in like, that's not my job type of attitude, you're going to do fantastic in this industry because, like I said, all the lab owners complain directly to me that we can't find talent. So be that talent.
Right. And that's another thing is, personally, my genesis story when it came to the lab industry, I came from a family of clinicians. I have, maybe 5 or 6 clinicians in the family. My father's a retired clinician. My brother practices pedodontics up in Ventura, California. His wife, my sister-in-law, and her mother, they run their own clinic out of Ventura as well. So it's always been around me. But the thing that really changed my direction was when I decided to go to Pasadena City College out in Pasadena, California for the restorative dental lab technology program. And I think that those sort of programs are things that, a lot of people aren't aware of that are out there. And I think it's huge, especially when it comes to somebody who's looking to get into the industry or even further their current knowledge base more. We would have people, people that were that had been working in labs for years who came to our school, and I have classmates now that are absolutely thriving in the industry.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really exciting, especially when you have younger generations that are thirsting for more knowledge, more technology knowledge, and people that are nerdy. They grow up around this stuff, and so they can just implement it into their work.
Really, one of the things that I think is driving the labor shortage we have here is that lack of public awareness that we even exist.
Yes.
Like, so, I'll meet somebody or whatever, and they'll be like, oh, what do you do? And I'll be like,
how do I explain this?
So when you go to the dentist and they give you a crown, the dentist doesn't make that crown. They send it out, and that company is going to make it, and they use a type of equipment, and I fix and sell that equipment.
Yeah, I had to have this conversation with TSA at the airport a few weeks ago when they pulled me over and I had zirconia pucks in my luggage. And I'm like, here we go
sketchy.
Again.
I've had that experience.
And you pull it out and it's halfway milled and they're looking at like, what is this weird stuff?
The zirconia shows up dark on their
right.
It's not radial. It's not translucent.
Right, radio opaque.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's definitely a red flag. I tend to check my zirconia pucks.
Right. So one of the things I want to go back to the milling side of things here. There's an old adage that says anything can be a smoke machine if it's used wrong enough, right?
Heck yeah.
So when somebody's mill is down, is it usually the end user or is it usually the machine or is it a combination of both? What is the answer to that?
The machine is a dumb implement. It'll literally never break if you just sit it in a corner and stare at it. Right. It's it only does what it is told to do, and it reacts to its environment.
Right.
So not every single, the vast majority of machine issues are derived from either the process. So we didn't maintenance it, or we've been trying to stretch our tools too long. Stuff like that. And a lot of end user error, and it all comes back to not reading that book when they open the machine. I think that's called a callback.
I think so.
And so vast majority issues that we face is just not having the knowledge in the organization. You got labs that have turnover, and the original guy who trained on the equipment doesn't work there anymore, and then you've got somebody like trying to watch YouTube videos and figure it out on their own. And so that's really where our company comes in, is we'll hold people's hands and retrain them if necessary, to get them productive.
Well, and also that's maybe even a place where automation can help things out when it comes to the lab's entire workflow. Is now you don't have to train somebody, or if there's a position that has a high amount of turnover, you still keep the people, the talented workforce there, so that when things go wrong, or if you need somebody to QC something, you have that person still on staff. But at the end of the day, it kind of simplifies the entire workflow and makes sure that there's less impetus on retraining somebody every time a new person walks through the door.
I think automation which lends itself again to general process design.
Right.
If you don't have a good process, you can't automate it.
Right.
Like that's 100% true. All that lends itself to more reliable results. And this, we're talking about machines and milling in general, but that applies to the whole business. And I think I answered your question. So a lot of times this end user, sometimes it's the machine, and a lot of times if it's the machine, it's because of a human.
Right, because of something a human did or did not do.
Yeah. So anecdote, we've got a machine in the shop right now that the customer tried to get it to work for going on 14, 15 months, right, working, and then they found us, and we helped them, remotely, and did that, and determined that the machine needed to be at the shop. It took us about 5 minutes after unboxing it to figure out what's wrong with it. The complaint was it wouldn't calibrate, never, ever calibrate. 5 minutes later, we go in there, I do my shakedown kind of test, and the whole spindle can move like a 1/4 inch up and down.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, well, there we go. That's there's something going on. We disassembled it, and it's missing parts.
Wow.
Call the customer up. Oh, yeah, we had a dude come out, and he changed all the stuff, and after that, it wouldn't calibrate. I'm like, well, hey, now everything fits all of a sudden.
Exactly.
Did you find any random screws or parts or anything under the machine after you left? And so, that one's a smash cut. We reassemble it correct with the right parts, and now she's working again. Human caused.
Right. So that being said, you've been in and out of labs. You've seen crazy mills, whether they're dirty or somebody's in the machine that shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. What's the wildest service call that you've ever been on?
I worked on a machine on the floor in a closet in a house. In a coat closet at that. So literally one of those closets that you open the door and there's 2 feet of depth. That's where the machine was, on the floor, next to another one.
Oh my God.
And so I was hanging upside down trying to reach stuff to get to it. And so that was pretty wild. There's been labs that have never seen a broom. There's been labs with open electrical panels with wires and stuff poking out.
Yeah, I've been into labs where you walk in and it smells like a cigar factory, and you look around and there's not dust but ash on the countertops, and it's wow, I hope your doc never comes here to pick anything up. Yeah,
it's I don't know, it could be scary. And I always joke man, it's a good thing I'm not OSHA. It's
exactly.
My lips are sealed.
Yep. I'm here to be your friend. Yeah, not your enemy.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to be the whistleblower on you. That's somebody else's job, not mine.
Yeah, but the thoughts in my mind, holy crap, man.
Yeah, exactly. I hope my doctor is not sending my work to this lab.
Yeah, well, what drives that though is that whole race to the bottom on pricing. Right. Because, labs are forced to compete and they have to cut corners on their facilities.
Right.
Exactly. And
or personnel, staffing.
Yeah. And process.
Yep.
100%. all that stuff suffers when you have to do a $23 crown, or whatever the bottom price is now.
Exactly.
Protect your margins, have some pride in what you do. You're an artisan.
Yeah, 100% protect your margins figuratively and literally.
Oh, yeah, weird play on words.
Yep, exactly.
Nice.
Well, that being said, I want to thank you for joining us today. I think that we've come to the end of our time here, unfortunately, but I'm sure that we will pick up this conversation next Friday when it's, 4:45 p.m. and one of us are just looking to chat about the nerdiest, new 3D printer on the market, whether it's, consumer side or something, having to do with CNC milling. So I look forward to our next chat. It'll be in private,
likewise.
Unfiltered. So maybe we'll film that and do a behind the scenes or something.
We should do that. That'd be fun. But,
Absolutely.
Appreciate the opportunity, and if ever need anything, just Google that.
Yeah, Denteon.
Cool.
Greg on the spot.
Nice. Thanks.
Thank you, Greg.